Hello again, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about using the conditional tenses to talk about things like if and when things happen and hypothetical situations. So let's get started. After finishing this lesson, you will be able to know the basic concepts of each of the conditionals, talk about simple consequences and logic, talk about options or plans related to present real possibilities, talk about unlikely situations. So, what are the conditionals? Technically, the conditionals are verb tenses on their own that we use to talk about specific situations. But the thing is that we use the other tenses that we've already learned to make these special conditional tenses. So that's why I've split them into their own lessons. For the conditional tenses, we have the present simple conditional or zero conditional, the present real conditional or first conditional, the present unreal conditional or second conditional, and the past unreal conditional, which is the third conditional or also called the hypothetical. In this lesson, we're going to cover the first three of these in depth, and then in the next lesson, we'll cover the last one. So today, present simple, present real, present unreal, and then next lesson, past unreal. So let's dig in. All right, the present simple conditional is used to talk about facts, consequences of actions, or to convey a logical conclusion. The structure is if or when plus a present simple clause plus another present simple clause. So, some examples. If you mix yellow and blue, you get green. If you heat water to 100 degrees Celsius, it boils. When you touch fire, you get burned. Okay, so again, all of these are stating truths or facts. They're just stating plain logic, okay? If you do this, this happens. If you try that, you get that, okay? So just stating simple logic. The next one is the present real conditional. So the present real conditional is used to talk about situations that have a real or likely possibility of happening. We can also use it to give warnings, make threats, or promises. The structure is if plus a present simple clause plus a future simple clause, all right? So for example, if I get off work early, I will drop by your place. So we have that present simple clause of get off early, right? And then we have the future simple with will drop by. So if I get off early, then I will drop by your place. Okay, so this is a real possibility that this might happen. I might actually get off work early today. If I get that promotion, I'm going to buy a new car. Okay, so we're communicating here by saying if I get that promotion, I am going to buy a new car, that it's a real possibility. Okay, it has an actual likely chance that it might happen. And the last one, if you try to pet him, he will bite you. Okay, if you try to pet him, he will bite you. Okay, now the present unreal conditional is used to talk about situations that have an unreal or unlikely possibility of happening. We can use it to talk about hypothetical situations, okay? Hypothetical situations. The structure is if plus a past simple clause plus would, which is the past tense of will, right? Plus the infinitive without to. All right. So if we break this down by looking at some examples, if I won the lottery, so won past simple, I would buy a new car. Okay. So we have if plus the past simple of won, okay, past of win. Then we have I would, and then infinitive of to buy without to, buy a new car. So if I won the lottery, I would buy a new car. But it's not a realistic chance that you would win the lottery, right? So we say if I won to show that it's an unlikely scenario, right? The probability is not very high of that happening. So we communicate that by changing that first verb to the past simple to show that this is the present unreal, okay? Unlikely. If I had $1 million, I would quit my job. but I don't have $1 million in this scenario, right? Now, I don't want to assume about your wealth. Maybe you do. So for you, maybe you need to change it to, if I have $1 million in my bank account right now, okay? But if you don't have $1 million, right, then this is an unreal possibility, right? You don't have $1 million, so therefore you can't quit your job, right? But if you did, if you had $1 million, this is what you would do, okay? If you tried to pet that dog, he would bite you. Now, in this example, you can't try to pet the dog, okay? Maybe he's behind a fence, or maybe there's someone protecting you from him, like standing in the middle of you and the dog. So instead of if you try, like in the last example, which was a real possibility, right? Now it's if you tried, to show that it's not a real possibility. So, the most common mistake that I see in students with the present unreal is students adding an extra would in the front part of the sentence. Okay. So, for example, a lot of people will say something like, if I would win $1 million, I would buy a new house. Okay. But that's not correct, right? It should be, if I won $1 million, as you just learned. With the present unreal, you don't need that would with the first verb. Okay. Putting the first verb as past simple when you're talking about now already tells people that you're talking about an unreal possibility in the present, okay? So you don't need would in that front part of the sentence because it's already conditional. By making it past simple, when you say if I won, now it's already conditional. It's already present unreal because you're communicating that it's unlikely, okay? So you don't need that first would there. Another example, if I would have enough time, then I would go on vacation. No, that's not correct, right? It's if I had enough time, then I would go on vacation. So make sure if you learn anything else from this lesson, let it be this, right? I see this mistake all the time in non-native speakers. You should not make this mistake anymore now that I've told you exactly how to say it correctly. All right, let's look at another example here that might confuse you as you start to see longer sentences with the conditionals, okay? So if we look at this sentence of, if I thought she would say yes, I would ask her out. So instead of if I think, it's if I thought, and then would is the past tense of will, right? So instead of if I will do this or I will do this, it's I would do this if it's hypothetical or conditional, right? So with this example, if I thought she would say yes, I would ask her out. If you remember, I told you the structure is if plus past simple clause plus would plus infinitive without to, right? But that would plus infinitive without to pattern is also continued in other parts of the conditional statement after that if plus past simple part, okay? So when we say something like, if I thought she would do this, I would do that, we're showing that the she would do this is hypothetical, right? Or it's an unreal or unlikely possibility, okay? So we're communicating that she's probably not going to do this, okay? The reason why it has to be unreal here is because in the first part of the sentence, we've already communicated that this is an unreal possibility in the present by using that if plus past simple clause, okay? So since we said, if I thought, it's now automatically unreal, all right? So therefore, the rest of the sentence has to be unreal. We can't say, if I thought she is going to do this, because now we would be saying we think she is going to do it. So we can't mix real and unreal in this way, right? The two have to agree, all right? So remember, we use will to imply likelihood or that it's a realistic possibility. So if we start with that past simple clause to show something is unlikely, then we can't use will in the next one because will would be showing that it is likely, right? So as soon as we start with that unreal possibility, we have to continue that premise, right, for the rest of the sentence. Okay, so in summary, we have the present simple conditional for facts, consequences, and logical conclusions. We have that if or when plus present simple clause plus the second present simple clause, okay? So this is that one that just kind of shows you the logic, right? If this happens, then that always happens, right? Then we have the present real conditional, which is for situations that have a real or likely possibility of happening. And the structure for that one is if plus a present simple clause plus a future simple clause. All right. Then we have the present unreal conditional. That's for situations that have an unreal or unlikely possibility of happening. Okay. And then the structure for that one was if plus past simple clause plus would plus the infinitive without to. All right, practice time again. Let's go ahead and read through these and then you can pause the video and then fill in the blanks with the correct answers. So, number one, if I blank spiders, I blank scream. Number two, if I blank the answers, I blank the test easily. Number three, if she blank hard, she blank her grades. Number four, if you blank that button, the alarm blank. And number five, if I blank superpowers, I blank everywhere. All right, so go ahead and pause me now, answer these on your own, and then come back and I will give you the correct answers. Okay, by now you should have paused me and unpaused and have all the answers. So let's go ahead and go through the answers. Number one, if I see spiders, I scream. Okay, answer is B. If I see spiders, I scream. This is just a statement of fact. This is what I do. This is my reaction. Okay. Number two, the answer is C. Okay. So if I knew the answers, I would pass the test easily. All right. Number three, the answer is A. If she studies hard, she will improve her grades. All right. So if she does this, then this will happen. Number four, the answer is A. If you press that button, the alarm sounds. Okay. So if you press that button, this is what happens. The alarm sounds. And the last one, the answer is C. If I had superpowers, I would fly everywhere. That's present unreal, right? Because you don't have superpowers, right? So you can't fly around everywhere. But if you had them, that is what you would do. So hopefully those weren't too difficult, but they'll definitely get easier for you as you go through the online exercises more in the dashboard. All right, that's it for this lesson on the conditionals. I hope everything is making sense so far. So after you complete the exercises for this lesson, we'll move on to the last conditional tense and a bit more of the advanced uses for the conditionals, okay? So good luck with the homework and see you in the next lesson.